Freedom riders call different nations to commemorate the 50th anniversary of segregation, race, and hate. Sitting down in a waiting room, the signs is all gone. Black and white citizens were treated so wrong. Unworthy equal rights, the fact is not lost. John Lewis, the Georgia congressman, faced threats from the mob. 50 years ago, brutal beatings and death threats in the South. Any race who tried to step up got took out. May of 1961, Lewis was 22. College students took a stand to make history come true. Small teams of blacks and whites, Americans and Jews, on a Greyhound to Washington to the deep South too. The mission was to enforce segregation laws. Black students and whites who started the status quo. It started with 13 people and 400 more people joined. Freedom Riders ended December 1961. The longest ride. Different nations to commemorate the longest ride. Segregation, race, and hate, the longest ride. Different nations to commemorate the longest ride. Longest ride, the longest ride. Different nations that commemorate the longest ride. Segregation, race, and hate, the longest ride. Different nations that commemorate the longest ride. The riders was a practice throwing black and whites together. Kennedy administration recognized his in the stormy weather. This is a movement that depends on more courage. Travel back to 61 so I can hear all my tigers roaring. Discipline and lying blinders, and they was willing to die. The judicial system tried to make them bandy rise. I can't think of anything that wasn't segregated. Ernest Payton Jr., yeah, he would even say it. At Harvard's department store, you had to take it outside with guilt. And Rev James lost and got him drummed at a Vanderbilt. And one year, no one even bought Easter outfits. There were stepping stones to larger things like segregation. Diane Nash fishing a university code ad, insisting not to listen to the older rights activists, and felt it was really too dangerous to go home. This 400 more students is willing to stay strong. Longest ride. Different nations to commemorate the longest ride. Segregation, race, and hate, the longest ride. Different nations to commemorate the longest ride. The longest ride. Different nations to commemorate the longest ride. Segregation, race, and hate, the longest ride. Different nations to commemorate the longest ride. Worst to come, the 13th of Mother's Day. Greyhound bus riding to Anniston, Alabama, in the wrong place, bringing the bus to a stop. Flattening their tires in rage. Whites fall bomb the riders, they pleading to get away. Same day, angry mad, top robbers in Birmingham. 16 minutes, the police agreed to do nothing. When the first bus in Nashville made it to Birmingham, they was arrested for entering another waiting room again. Riders were taken out the cell in the middle of the night. They took them to the end of the Alabama state line. Then we made it back to Nashville, so unfair, then rode back to Birmingham. Challenged the commissioner. The attorney Robert Kennedy told students to ban the rides or face possible death. There's a miracle none of the riders died. Now we got our first African American president. The longest ride for freedom. He called it poetic justice. The longest ride. Different nations to commemorate the longest ride. Segregation, race, and hate, the longest ride. Different nations to commemorate the longest ride. The longest ride. Different nations to commemorate the longest ride. Segregation, race, and hate, the longest ride. Different nations to commemorate the longest ride. Enforce the Constitution on the 13th, 14th, 15th Amendment. Freedom wheels are rolling, more and more of a day. Ride to freedom, take a stand with the law of the land. Yeah, the longest ride to segregation. Yeah, the longest ride. You feel me?